Dawn. A good time to cheat death. He faced north in his wingsuit, his feet planted on the lip of Glacier Point, half a vertical mile above the shadowed Yosemite Valley floor. The sun edged above the serrated peaks of the High Sierra to the east. Its slanted rays stirred the first of the morning's updrafts, precursors of the blustery hot summer day to come. He flexed his toes in his padded landing shoes, his arms pressed to his sides. The fabric airfoils of his flying suit flapped at his elbows and between his legs. He was a small man at 5'6" and 150 pounds, still heavily muscled as he neared 50, abs six-packed, biceps and forearms honed from decades of scaling El Capitan, Half Dome, and the dozens of other sheer granite faces walling the valley before him. He took a steadying breath and focused inward. Even as he sought calm and the supreme confidence required to leap into the abyss below, his heart, hammering against his rib cage, betrayed him. How many flights would this make for him this year? The number shouldn't matter, but it did. 8. Far fewer than past summers, though more than any of the young flyers who jockeyed around him in the Wawona campground since May, asking what they could do for him. Anything at all. He had only to name it. And he, ever magnanimous, telling them thanks, but really, no, there was nothing they could do, unless the offer came from one of the few female flyers. They, with their lithe, supple bodies, as long as his girlfriend didn't find out, there was always something they could do for him in his camper van, after the campfire burned to coals, and the tangy scent of pine replaced the fog of wood smoke in the air. He sensed Ponch's presence behind him, providing silent, necessary peer pressure. Not that he would ever admit he needed it. He assured himself Ponch was on hand simply to film the initiation of his flight off the point, nothing more. He glanced down between his feet at the floor of the valley below. Through breaks in trees, the concrete huts of housekeeping camp shone with silvery fluorescent light, while majestic Yosemite Hotel radiated its luxuriant, electric yellow glow on the opposite side of the river. He looked left, focusing on the dark gap in Sentinel Ridge. He hadn't yet determined if he would enter the narrow slot, a flying dart threading the rock-walled breach at 120 miles an hour. He couldn't decide, in fact, until he dropped into the yawning void and the first of the day's rising thermals gathered in his wings. Still, having curled away from the notch his previous 3 flights, the need to rocket through it sometime soon, as the end of summer drew near, was growing impossible to ignore. Half Dome skylined the eastern horizon. The morning sun silhouetted the hulking granite dome's sheer north wall,